What is going on YouTube? It is FlopFish here, and welcome to another NHL 13 gameplay commentary. This one's going to be about, the big trade that just shook down between the Dallas Stars and Boston Bruins. But before I get into that, just a little side note about the gameplay. The first two periods in this gameplay were fairly even, and then the third period was just absolutely, yeah, it was pretty one-sided. You'll see by the kind of stats I have left up how one-sided it was. But besides that, anyway, I'm just going to get into the main point of this commentary, which was a trade. And also, Dustin Penner in this game was like skating like a madman. Like there's pancakes behind my net or something. You'll notice it a few times. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into this trade. And in case you guys don't know what it is, the Boston Bruins traded Tyler Seguin, Rich Peverley, and Ryan Budden to the Stars in exchange for Loui Eriksson, Joe Morrow, Reilly Smith, and Matt Fraser. Now, this trade, a lot of people were saying, it was very good in Dallas's favor, the Eriksson for Seguin part. But in my opinion, I think Boston would have won that part of the deal personally. Again, it fits both of their needs in this deal. Boston losing out on Horton, they needed a winger to replace him, and they also freed up a lot of cap space. Seguin and Eriksson had similar contracts, and Peverley was about 3.25 cap hit, so it'll allow them to re-sign Rask long term, which is a fairly good deal for them too. And ultimately, a lot of people are probably wondering, like, really, Loui Eriksson's that good of a player? And he's one of the most underrated. He's the most underrated player, not one of the most. He is the most underrated player in the NHL. The guy puts up, in the last four full seasons he's played in, not including the lockout year, he put up like 278 points or something like that, and he only missed 3 games. He got 63 points in 1 year, and then 71, 73, and 71 points in the other remaining years. And just when a player only misses 3 games over that time, he means he's pretty durable, and a lot of people actually really underrate him and underestimate how good he is. I think our skill on Twitter posted, or we were talking about him and how good he was at the World Hockey Championships on a line with the Sedins, and he's a player that makes any player better. Like, for someone to fit in with the Sedins right away is a little bit more challenging. Obviously, you're going to get some good point production, but he just fits in really well with no matter pretty much who you play him with. And considering he didn't have the best of wingers in Dallas, I'm pretty excited to see what he can do, probably on a top 6 role in Boston in a hockey market. It's good to see him finally. Hopefully, he'll get recognized a little bit more, but he does have a bit of pressure. I guess he hasn't been in a big market, so he might have that type of pressure, which I don't think he'll have really any issue with playing for Sweden and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much Boston got a good top 6 winger in Loui Eriksson to replace Horton, and then they got a good defensive prospect in Joe Morrow. And then Reilly Smith is actually a really good prospect as well. I think he's probably going to do some pretty good things in the future. It might take a little bit longer for him to come up to the NHL level, but I think he's going to be a pretty good piece out of this trade. And coming back the Stars' ways, they got 2 centers that they desperately needed, and that's mainly why Boston made Seguin expendable, because he was not a center. Or he was a center and he was not playing center. And he just wasn't, a player on the third line or second line, you really want to have at a $6 million cap hit if you want to have other players there. And especially with the shrinking cap, they did have to sacrifice some players to get more. And he ultimately was the one who had to go. And he'll be a great fit in Dallas, don't get me wrong, but there are still some question marks about him. I know Reilly raised some concerns with his work ethic, and ultimately, as I get a lucky bounce right there, the first one I've had in a long time, ultimately, hopefully he can battle that and get through that, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see this trade 5 years down the road, because Loui Eriksson's still 27, he's still entering the quote-unquote prime of his hockey career, and Seguin still hasn't hit that yet. And ultimately, I think even 5 years down the road, Boston's going to probably come out on top on this trade just because of who they're able to re-sign. They're able to re-sign Rask, and they're able to keep or get a guy like Loui Eriksson in, and Joe Morrow and Reilly Smith, who I think will be pretty solid down the road for them. That being said, the Stars are a much more dangerous team now with some centers and some actual decent centers too on their team. And don't forget, like, you have Nikushkin, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced. You have him, you have Ben, and you have Seguin as a possible line right there. That's pretty lethal. I do not want to face that. But anyways, so that's pretty much the end of the trade. I think short-term wise, Boston definitely wins that. It's actually fairly even. I'd call it a draw. Long-term wise, I think Boston might have a slight edge in it, but who knows? You know, we never know until it's played out, and this could be one of the trades that, like, 5 years down the road, one team gets, it looks like they got an insane steal, but at the time, we all must remember this is a fairly even trade both ways. But anyways, as I make the shift that makes the guy rage quit right here without scoring a goal, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys want to see more discussion, I will be posting stuff all day tomorrow on free agency. Probably will be live streaming, so get excited for that. But anyways, guys, as you see how much I dominated the third period from the rest of the game, if you liked the video, leave a like, leave a comment if you want to, and as always, take it easy and peace out.